was announced yesterday when it comes to the City of Toronto's response to the threat of U.S. tariffs. On that, Mayor Olivia Chow joins us live to talk about some of the recent announcements here. Good morning, Mayor. Nice to see you, and thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Good morning.
So let's talk about this 10 action items that you announced yesterday as a way to fight back against the tariffs. I'm wondering, how effective do you think this is really going to be? Do you think the U.S. is going to feel this?
Well, the U.S.-based company is going to feel it because they can no longer bid on any City of Toronto contracts. And that's about $1 billion over 10 years. And the City of Toronto is the fourth largest city in North America. Our $79 billion budget is the size of Florida. And we hope to get their attention to say, hey, we used to be friends. We're good neighbors. We are economically very successful because we cooperate with each other through trade. And with this trade war, which is totally senseless and harmful, we have to fight back. So we're saying that you can't bid. We are encouraging people to buy local. And we are saying to the Canadian companies, we will favor you in our contracts. And so hopefully it will support more Canadian companies, make them more resilient, and create some jobs right here in Toronto and across Canada.
Yeah, it is good to see that sense of unity and Canadians kind of coming together, supporting local businesses and, you know, local communities, et cetera. Mayor Chow, just one thing came up yesterday, and a lot of people were asking me, you know, online about this. You just mentioned it again, a $79 billion budget for the city. I was under the impression it was sort of sub $20 billion. Can you clarify that number? Because a lot of people yesterday raised their eyebrows when they heard you say on CNN, and you just repeated it this morning, $79 billion.
Yes, we have a $19 billion operating budget. We also have a $60 billion capital budget. Remember, if you look at the national how they calculate in terms of their budget, they bring our federal government, they bring both the operating, which is, for example, building TTC subways, fixing the subways, the roads, the tunnels, all of that. Those are, and constructions, all of fixing the roads. And so all of that is a capital budget, building libraries, recreation centers, all of that, your sewage, the big pipes that are underneath you in order to you have clean water. So all of that is $60 billion. That is why if you, our capital budget is 60 and 19 billion, well, $18.9 billion of operating budget. So it's important to say that is what the City of Toronto budget is.
I appreciate that clarification, yeah.
So it's obviously a massive budget, and you mentioned, Mayor, the idea here is to essentially the American companies could feel this, right? They'd be concerned with how we're responding to this. But I'm also wondering, is it possible that we could feel this as Torontonians who pay our taxes? Could we have to pay more if there aren't other options?
We'll try not to. We, as Canadians, are very humble. We actually have a phenomenal manufacturing industry right here in Toronto. Recently, I was at the Armstrong. It's a company that is global, but started 60 plus years ago, right here in the heart of, in North York, Scarborough actually, and they make state-of-the-art, energy-efficient heating and cooling system. It is phenomenal. They export all over the world, and yet we don't do that many businesses. Like our City of Toronto arenas and community centers, we don't use them, right? Which is something that we, in the past, have taken for granted. We go to U.S. because it's closer by, and they are more aggressive in selling, and we sometimes neglect what is right in front of us, that incredible manufacturing industry that we do have in the city of Toronto. So we're running a campaign to say buy local, shop Canadians, and all of that. We're also running a campaign to highlight the manufacturing industry right here in our city. We're also, some companies and some industries going to hurt. We're going to defer their property tax for a bit of time so that they have easier cash flow, give them more flexibility, and we will help retrain some of the workers working with college and universities. Now, this is only a 30-day plan. My team and a team of experts that I brought together are going to continue to meet because President Trump said April 2nd, another round is going to come. We will roll out a second phase of our defense plan, and we will hit back, and we'll do what we can together. The key thing, though, stay strong, stay united. We are resilient. We came through COVID stronger, and we will do the same with this trade war.
Mayor Chow, we have you here this morning, and it's an interesting morning to be here because there's also that protest happening outside Queen's Park this morning. I know you're a big fan of cycling as well. People are protesting, the tearing up of the bike lanes in the city. Do you have a clearer sense of what the timeline is of when these lanes may start being torn out? We know the $48 billion price tag is apparently going to be picked up by the province, but in terms of the timeframes here, what do you understand them to be?
Well, I am still working hard on finding a win-win solution, and cyclists need to be protected. They need to be safe, and we don't want lives lost or limbs hurt. So that's really important. So the win-win situation, for example, what we can do is find ways to bring back a car lane in some instance and still maintain the bike lane. We are doing designs. We are having conversation between our city staff and the ministry staff so that we could find some solutions. And I remain, well, maybe this job of mine require me to remain hopeful and continue the dialogue. And hopefully the cyclists will continue to be protected and feel safe on the road. Because we need more people cycling so that they're not driving. We need better public transit so we have less congestion. So all of that combined keep Toronto moving.
Mayor, I thought of something else I wanted to ask you. This circling back to tariffs, we've seen over the last couple of weeks some changes by other cities when it comes to the American flag in city places, arenas. I know Mississauga announced over the weekend they're pulling the American flag down, saying residents have asked them to do that. They did it in Barrie. Are these conversations happening in Toronto? Is this something you'd consider?
I did a scan after seeing what Mississauga is doing. There's no American flags. Well, the American consulate, of course, but there's no City of Toronto flagpole that are flying American flags. We are proudly flying Canadian flags. In fact, there's a City of Toronto flag also. We are having an event celebrating who we are. It's called Elbows Up this weekend, and bringing people together so we can feel that sense of unity and that believing and making true that together we are stronger. And we'll take that opportunity to remind people to shop local.
Absolutely. Okay. Mayor Olivia Chow, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.